Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood, continuing to take a look at the individual qualifiers from every regional as we get even closer now to the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games. Today we're talking about the West Regional, and on the women's side there, this one did not go as expected.
This was one of my favorite ones to watch because all the smart money was either on Alvarez or Abbott to run away with it, but you know, Carleen Matthews had some different plans.
And I'm glad it played out that way because I think Carleen is going to surprise some people at the games this year.
On the women's side at the West Regional, you had 3 Games veterans qualify along with 2 Games rookies. That's Carly Fuhrer and Christina Seeley, who was Christina Verhagen when she competed at the regionals. Carleen Matthews leads the way, and then you have a couple of Games veterans that we'll talk about right behind her. But Carleen Matthews going in, like Pat said, smart money was on Abbott and Alvarez to battle it out for that top spot. Matthews takes the top spot and qualifies number 1 going into the CrossFit Games. Now the question is, what can she get accomplished when she gets to Carson?
I think she can accomplish a lot, and quite frankly, she's my pick for one of the most improved athletes this year after her performance last year. You look at what she's done so far. She was 18th worldwide in the Open. She wins the West Regional in convincing fashion over the likes of Emily Abbott and Margaux Alvarez. And she was 11th in the CRC, but most importantly, she was the highest ranking female athlete from week number 2. That's ahead of Emily Bridgers, who put together another dominant performance as well. And she was really competing with a tenacity that really led me to believe that she actually believes she can hang with some of the best, and that's part of what you need to be successful at the games.
Emily Abbott and Margaux Alvarez really had similar years last year. Both jumped up more than 20 spots at the CrossFit Games. Both finished inside the top 10. Can they do it again in 2016?
2 ladies with a lot of fitness. Emily Abbott, well, both athletes had an incredible year, but Abbott's was amazing. So incredible improvement from one year at the games to the next. Then she makes it onto the invitational team for Canada, goes head-to-head against China Cho in an open announcement, beats her. A lot of pressure rolling into regionals, doesn't win. When I caught up with her on the phone, it was really cool. She said, hey, I almost believed my own hype. I got caught up in the media and the pressure, and instead of going to regionals and doing my best, I was chasing other athletes, and that's not the way to have your best self be there. So we're going to see, I think, at the games, the Emily Abbott that we want to see. And then Margaux Alvarez, another one we thought might win regionals, didn't happen. She said she was nursing a bit of a hip injury that threw off her plan a little bit. She's doing everything she can to make sure she rolls into the games healthy. She stated last year that she wants to win the games, said that goal hasn't changed, and she's currently feeling the fittest she has ever been and the most prepared she has ever been. So that's saying a lot.
The 2 rookies that joined the 3 Games veterans are Carly Fuhrer and Christina Seeley. Realistically, what can we expect to see from them in Carson?
Well, physically, in terms of performance, I think maybe top 25, maybe top 20, and they should really hope to kind of notch a handful of top 10 finishes in events. But then I think the mental success is going to be key for them, and what that looks like is they need to be present throughout the entirety of the week. That means enjoy it. Don't be kind of overwhelmed by the moment of being at the games, and then look around. Look at the athletes ahead of you, some of the likes like Camille, Annie, Cara, athletes who have been there before, and learn something from them. Look at how they manage the week. Look at what they do in between events, how they stay mentally prepared, and then use that for next year.
Now, over on the men's side, it's the same story. 3 Games veterans and then 2 rookies, but the difference here is that the rookie actually won the regional. Brent Fikowski is the only Games rookie who finished first in a regional competition. Samuel Quant is the other Games rookie going, and then 3 familiar names that we'll talk about in a second here, but want to focus on Brent Fikowski because when it comes to rookies, we a lot of times just say, look, go and get experience, enjoy yourself, and then set yourself up for the future. But with Brent Fikowski, I mean, this guy has potential to maybe wind up in the top 5.
Sean, you know me. You know that it pains me to give a rookie too much credit walking into their first games, but I'll tell you what, I think Brent Fikowski is different. I think he has tremendous potential. If he shows up to the games half as focused and calm as he was at regionals, he has the type of potential that you're talking about. When I spoke with him, he said his conditioning has always been top-notch, but he felt that his strength, since it was subpar, he couldn't truly display to the world what he was capable of. Well, now that's caught up, and look what he's capable of. Between the ears, man, this guy's rock solid, and yeah, I think he's a rookie to definitely keep your eye on.
Meanwhile, a guy that we expected to maybe win this regional, Cole Sager, gets in on the final event, and had to do it in dramatic fashion as well. But are the games sort of a better showcase for him than regionals?
I was ready to give Cole a hard time, and then I asked him this very question on the phone, and he gave me an honest answer. It wasn't a fun question for him to hear, but I said, look, You have a great rookie debut. You take 17th. You follow it up in 2015 with a 7th place finish, but now you barely qualify to go to the games. How are you still in the conversation as one of the top dogs? And he was great. He said, look, man, last year I got complacent, kind of like what Josh Bridges said happened to him. The more well-known you become, you get more sponsorship opportunities. You can travel around a lot more, and he let more of that occupy his year. And some training sessions, I'll do it later on tonight, they got blown off, and he found himself in a fight for regionals, barely made it, but now that he did, he's had that realization, training how he should be for the game. So I think we'll see the Cole Sager of old showing up.
Ben Stoneberg is back after taking a year off last year, and the last time we saw him at the games, he had some great performances and finished, top 10. What do we expect to see from him this time around?
I really expect another strong performance from him. Granted, he did take off last year due to injury, so it wasn't real lifestyle factors. He actually had to heal up, but we did see him finish 9th and 2014, so I don't think top 15, maybe hunting for top 10 is out of the realm of possibility. You look at some of the things that he does really well that I think sets him apart at the games level. He runs very well. He was 3rd in the 333. That's a long running type event that we see some games athletes trip up on. He was 3rd in push-pull, which means he was great at those strict deficit handstand push-ups, some of his higher level gymnastics. 6th in thick and quick, which is short, heavy, fast. Then you have strong finishes in things like the sprint sled and muscle-up biathlons, 2 very different workouts. So there's a broad spectrum of things that he can be very successful at the games.
The final games veteran in this mix is Lucas Parker, who is making his 6th trip to the CrossFit Games. He's coming off a career best 14th place finish last year, but he's never been able to get himself into the top 10 or into that conversation of being elite. Certainly consistent, but what does he have to do now to get himself into that group?
He is an intriguing athlete, and you mentioned the stat that when I was researching for the show, I just had to check it a couple times. Just didn't realize he's going to the games for the 6th time. Maybe I expected a 4th or a 5th, but this guy has experience. You can't argue with that. And he's had a plan to creep up the leaderboard every year that he stated publicly, and that plan's been derailed a little bit. I think as the level of competition around him rises, as does his own capacity, he needs to have, his average finish at the game so far has been 21.6. So he needs to have not only a great weekend, he needs to take a couple chances and have a really clean race start to finish to break himself into the top 10 that he's wanted so badly.
From a veteran with plenty of experience to a rookie in every sense of the word, Samuel Quant will be the youngest male competitor at the CrossFit Games, just 20 years old. What would you like to see from him at the Games?
Well, I think it's going to be a successful year for him just to make it through the weekend. At
Survive.
20 years young, he's the youngest athlete in the field for the men. And really, most other people his age are busy shotgunning PBRs, wolfing down Jimmy Johns. So to be able to be an elite athlete at this level at that age is phenomenal. But I think if he can have a couple of the performances that cause us as analysts at the desk to just kind of go rifling through our notes and be like, oh my God, where did this come from? Similar to Bjorn Carl Gumason and Murph last year.
Yep.
I think that would be something to hang your hat on as a young athlete to be able to kind of build on for next year.
The CrossFit Games are now just about a week or so away. We'll get that week kicked off. Tickets are still available for Carson, but the tennis stadium tickets are sold out. You can still get soccer stadium tickets. That'll get you into the venue, and you will be able to watch in some capacity all the events that go down at the StubHub Center live. Plenty of fun activities there for all the fans, so you're going to want to be part of that. We'll be back tomorrow with more as we continue to preview the individual side of things for the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games. For Pat and Tommy, I'm Sean. We'll see you guys tomorrow.